First, obviously we played a very, very good, well-coached team today. The success that Bruce has had at Auburn is unprecedented, obviously, and he gets those guys to play extremely hard, very unselfish. We talked a little bit before the game how both teams are kind of finding themselves a little bit, and I thought it was going to be a battle. I thought that you know, if we went out there and played with some fight, which I thought we did, that we'd be able to compete, and we proved that we could do that. We're just not quite good enough yet to win that game. We got to keep getting better. And our guys fought. We had some defensive mistakes in the second half. We're going to get better there. And then you're playing against a really good defensive team. That's just hard to score on. So to win that game, you got to win 47-45 probably, you know. For us, again, they press, they pressure. We had 11 turnovers in that game. We play a different style of defense where we shrink the court and pressure the ball, but we don't overextend. We force 14 turnovers, you know. So we're doing some good things. I think, I don't know if it's exactly right, but I don't think a team has shot over 40% against us in any of the 4 games. We just got to keep finding our niches and roles on the offensive end, which is going to take some time. But at the same time, I thought we made some strides in that today with the pace that we played at. So some good things to build on. As I told our guys, those are the expectations, though, in terms of the effort that we played with. Should do that every single game. And that's a challenge with some new guys and putting pieces together, but that's what we're here for.
Coach, how much closer was what Caleb did tonight to how you want him to play?
Well, you know, again, I think the pace that he played with and the explosiveness, not a lot of fiddle-faddle with the ball, just using his speed and his athletic ability to get to certain spots on the court and then make plays from there. So yeah, definitely. You know, he's still a young player that's getting better and putting in work. So we got to see, you know, continual improvement. But the pace and the command that he played with is what we need.
I think one of the kind of unsung heroes of these first 4 games has been the way that Sam Hines has played and kind of what he's done. Played valuable minutes for you tonight, especially down the stretch.
Yeah.
Can you just touch on, you know, kind of how you thought he's been these 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, he's a critical piece for us moving forward because he gives us a lot of versatility, you know. Probably, you know, in terms of his short career so far, probably the biggest game he's played in, the most with the greatest intensity against the best team. I don't know who they played last year, but in terms of it being a close game, and the game wasn't too big for him, you know. Defensively, obviously, he's very good. You know, did a great job on the glass for us in you know, battling down there and different things like that. He jammed his finger a little bit, so it's affecting his shooting a little bit right now. But he's a guy, you know, as we move forward, and not just this year, but down the road, you know, he's one of those guys that becomes kind of the pillar of the program because he does everything right every single day. He just needs to keep getting better, and he's putting in the time. So you're going to see that. You know, you just keep sowing those seeds, and one day, when the time is right, I always say, when you win those games when you're good enough to win them, and you make the plays when you're good enough to make them. And everybody's on a different timeline. You can't compare your timeline to other people. You got to just stay true and keep doing the right thing every day, and he's one of those guys.
Coach, how about your defensive game plan in the first half, the execution of it, and then where maybe in the second half they were able to maybe get you out of it?
So you know, obviously we had multiple ball screen coverages today. We were able to change up and keep them off balance a little bit with that. But it really puts a lot of pressure on our big guys. I thought Russell's foul trouble hurt us in the second half in that. because obviously he's the most experienced big that we got in our system anyways. And I thought, again, if you charted it half court wise, our defense was probably every bit as good in the second half. But we gave up 3 or 4 transition, maybe even more, 4 or 5 transition baskets. A couple of them were off of turnovers, which is what they do well. But there was a couple where we just didn't, we bum rushed the ball on a rebound and we gave up a 3 in the corner. That was a big play. There's a discipline that you need to play with, and what's the challenge is when you're not scoring on offense, because you're playing against a really good defensive team, to stick to your discipline on defense. And there was a couple times we slipped up on that a little bit. But again, you know, they have, you know, multiple guys that can score in a variety of ways, you know, and we just gave them a couple too many, you know, in that second half.
Auburn's press defense caused you guys some trouble. Caleb played a lot of minutes tonight. He's one guy right now you feel comfortable kind of bringing up the ball?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he was playing well on the defensive end as well. You know, Wendell Green's their leading scorer, and he goes 0 for 8 tonight. If you would have told me that last year with Murphy guarding him, I would have asked you how much you drank before you asked the question. You know, so he's growing in that area. So it was hard to get him out because he was defending as well as he was playing on offense. But we got to, you know, in this situation, you know, we got to get some other guys that are ready to play some significant minutes to help us out in that. There's no question about that. But today, you know, we had some times where Javon brought the ball up court and got a little sped up. You know what I mean? Especially in that first half. So we got to continue to work on that and get better on that, because you can't just have, you know, one guy be the guy. You got to have multiple guys to be able to do that, and something we need to work on.
Coach, as mentioned, Caleb and Javon both played big minutes tonight. Could you tell us about the progression in them as a duo and leading the offense, especially in that backcourt?
Yeah, you know, as I've said multiple times, you know, regarding Javon, you don't have the career that he had at George Mason without being a really good player. You know, the challenge for him now is he's learning a whole new system, terminology, coverages, offensive actions, different things like that. So there's times where he's maybe not as aggressive as I need him to be, or there's times where the read that he's making isn't the read that we need in that particular instance. So again, time is going to solve some of those problems. But those two guys today, you walk out of this arena and you'd say as good as the guards that play in the SEC. You know what I mean? Now the challenge always is the consistency in that, being able to do that on a consistent basis.
Coach, is there a positive to playing a high-quality opponent like you did tonight early in the season, even if the result is a loss?
Well, you got to learn from it. There's positives in everything. It's, you know, how you approach that and how you respond to it. You know, so I'm a positive guy, Russ. You know, so you got to figure out a way to come up with some stuff. But we lost. So make no mistake about it, I'm not very happy right now. I'm still a positive guy, but I'm not very happy right now, because it was a game that if you do a few things here and there, you can win a game. So now you got to learn from it. You got to grow from it. Yeah, we tell the guys all the time, every setback is a setup for something greater if you attack it that way. If you attack it that way, and that's, every guy owns their response. That's, you know, one of our core values is responsibility. You own your response. No one else does. And so now we got to respond the right way to it.
Coach, last time USF went to the NCAA tournament, they played all their games here. Have you discussed with MK if maybe just move everything here?
I mean, first and foremost, and I should have mentioned this, our marketing department and the facility people did an unbelievable job, because this was hard to do. All right, it was hard to do, and then you add football being on the road, so big part of our fan base, everybody likes to go to New Orleans, you know, and our marketing people, you know, I said we got to make it as exciting as we can. I know maybe where the numbers are going to be at, but and they did an unbelievable job, and the facilities to set it up exactly like a home game with our court, the whole bit. You should have saw our guys when they walked out there for a shoot around today. They were jacked up. You know what I mean? It was special. So we've talked about doing this, you know, once a year or something like that, bringing in, you know, because no one wants to play us. And it's hard to get really. Auburn would not, and again, I don't blame them, because I was in the same spot many times. Auburn ain't playing at our place. Now we got to go there next year and play. But you got to do some of that stuff as you're building the program to get some momentum going, and so it was well worth it. And again, you know, great job by all our people at South Florida. They turned it into a tremendous event for us.
Anything else, Coach?